The stars looked peaceful from the bridge of Earth's dawn, as Admiral Jake Morrison watched the scanner displays show empty space ahead. 3 years into humanity's first deep space exploration mission, they had found nothing but dead worlds and cosmic dust. The crew of 200 had grown restless, wondering if they were truly alone in the universe. Captain Lisa Brooks stood beside Morrison, reviewing diplomatic protocols they had practiced 1,000 times but never used. Earth had sent them with hopes of finding friendly neighbors, not knowing that the galaxy held far different intentions for the small blue world they called home. The alarm broke the morning silence like a scream. Lieutenant Amy Carter at the sensor station called out with excitement in her voice. 3 massive ships had appeared on their screens, each one 10 times larger than Earth's dawn. The vessels moved with purpose, closing distance fast. Morrison felt his heart race as he gave orders to prepare for first contact. Brooks activated the universal translator and began broadcasting standard greeting messages in mathematics and simple images. They waited with nervous energy as the alien ships surrounded them in a perfect triangle formation. The response came as a harsh voice speaking broken English through their communication system. War Commander Zethkar of the Caltharian Empire demanded they surrender their vessel for inspection. His tone held no curiosity or friendliness, only cold authority that made Morrison's blood run cold. Brooks tried to explain they came in peace, that Earth sought only friendship and trade with other species. The alien commander laughed, a sound like metal scraping stone. He told them that weak species did not negotiate with the Empire. They either served or they died. Within minutes, Caltharian boarding pods attached to Earth's dawn like parasites. Armored soldiers with 4 arms and glowing red eyes forced their way through the airlocks. Morrison ordered his crew not to resist as the aliens herded them into the cargo bay at weapon point. Zethkar arrived with ceremonial robes that marked his high rank in the Empire. He walked among the human prisoners, studying them like insects. In a collection, his translator device made his words clear and threatening as he explained their situation. The Caltharian Empire controlled 400 star systems and countless species. Any civilization they encountered had 2 choices: submit completely and serve as slaves, or face total destruction as an example to others. Zethkar had decided that humanity would serve as that example. Brooks pleaded with him to spare Earth, offering anything the Empire might want in exchange for peace. The alien commander found her desperation amusing. He explained that the Empire already had everything they needed. What they wanted was to send a message to the galaxy about what happened to species that might resist their rule. Morrison watched in horror as Caltharian technicians accessed Earth's dawn navigation computers. Within hours, they had the location of every human colony and the path back to Earth itself. Zethkar selected New Haven Colony as the target for their demonstration. The journey to New Haven took 3 days. Morrison and his crew were forced to watch as Caltharian dreadnoughts joined their escort. By the time they reached the colony, 12 massive warships filled the space around the peaceful planet below. Commander Steve Walsh led New Haven's tiny defense force of 6 patrol ships and some orbital platforms. When Morrison tried to warn him over the radio, Caltharian soldiers silenced him with electric prods that left him writhing on the floor. Walsh demanded to know why alien warships had surrounded his world. Zethkar personally answered, explaining that New Haven colony had been selected for destruction to demonstrate the Empire's power. The 99 million human settlers below would die to teach the galaxy about Caltharian authority. Brooks begged Zethkar to take her instead, to spare the innocent families on the planet. The alien commander had his soldiers hold her in place, while he activated a galaxy-wide broadcast system. Thousands of species across hundreds of worlds would watch what happened next. Walsh tried desperately to evacuate civilians from the major cities. His ships worked frantically to load transport, vessels with families and children. Lieutenant Amy Carter, who had detected the aliens first, watched through tears as parents said goodbye to children they could not save. The Caltharian fleet moved into bombardment position with mechanical precision, their weapons charged with energy that made the very air around Earth's dawn crackle with static. Zethkar spoke to his broadcast audience, explaining how inferior species would be treated if they dared to resist the Empire. Captain Ron Hayes led New Haven's defense squadron in a desperate attack on the alien fleet. His 6 small ships fired everything they had at the nearest dreadnought. The human weapons barely scratched the enemy shields, while return fire vaporized Hayes and his entire squadron in seconds. The bombardment began with surgical strikes on military targets. Plasma beams from orbit turned Walsh's command center into molten metal and ash. The orbital defense platforms exploded like fireworks against the black of space. In minutes, New Haven had no defenses left. Zethkar spoke calmly to his audience as the attack expanded to civilian targets. He explained that mercy was weakness, that quick elimination prevented prolonged suffering. The first city died in a flash of white light that could be seen from orbit. Morrison and his crew were forced to watch as city after city vanished under alien fire. The death toll climbed steadily as evacuation ships fled the planet carrying whoever they could save. Most never made it past the Caltharian blockade that destroyed them like targets in a shooting gallery. Amy Carter counted the casualties as reports came in from fleeing survivors. 10 million dead, then 20, then 50. The numbers climbed. With mechanical certainty, as Zethkar provided commentary about human weakness and alien superiority. The final city fell after 18 hours of systematic destruction. Emergency broadcasts from the planet's surface went silent one by one. The last transmission came from a children's hospital where doctors stayed with their patients to the end. Zethkar announced the final count to his galactic audience. Exactly. 99 million humans had died on New Haven colony. He had his technicians display the number in the languages of every major species, ensuring the message was clear across the galaxy. The alien commander turned to Morrison and Brooks with satisfaction in his glowing eyes. He told them they would be returned to Earth to deliver the Empire's terms of surrender. Humanity had 1 month to submit completely or face the same fate as New Haven. As Earth's dawn limped away from the dead world that had once been home to nearly 100 million souls. Morrison stared at the ashes of New Haven growing smaller. In the view screen, a peaceful exploration mission had become something else entirely. They carried news that would change humanity forever. Brooks worked frantically on her report to Earth, knowing that every word might determine whether their species survived or joined the countless others that had fallen to Caltharian might. Behind them, Zethkar's fleet moved on to their next target, confident that one more weak species had learned the price of defying the Empire. President Carolyn White stood in the emergency session room as the final broadcast from New Haven went silent. The footage of 99 million deaths played on screens around the chamber while world leaders sat in stunned silence. Every face showed the same mixture of grief and rage that now united humanity for the first time in history. General Frank Johnson entered the room carrying classified files that would change everything. His weathered face showed no emotion as he placed the documents before the Global Defense Council. What he revealed next would shock even those who thought they knew. Earth's true capabilities. The footage of New Haven's destruction had reached Earth 12 hours ago. Admiral Jake Morrison's damaged ship limped into orbit with the Caltharian ultimatum demanding complete surrender within 30 days. Earth's leaders had exactly 4 weeks to decide between slavery and extinction. Helen Park activated the holographic display that showed Earth's solar system. Red dots marked locations that most council members had never seen before. Hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt, weapon testing facilities on the dark side of the moon, and manufacturing plants buried deep beneath Mars all glowed on the secret. Map. Johnson began his briefing with words that made several council members gasp in disbelief. For 40 years, Earth had been preparing for this exact moment. Project Nemesis had quietly built the largest military force in human history while maintaining the appearance of a peaceful exploration society. Colonel Ben Turner stood to address the council about humanity's real space fleet. While Earth's Dawn and similar vessels explored the galaxy with primitive weapons and basic shields, over 2,000 advanced warships waited in hidden bases throughout the solar system. Each ship carried weapons designed to fight unknown alien threats. The president listened as Turner explained how Earth's best scientists had spent decades developing technologies based on theoretical alien capabilities. They had assumed that any hostile species would possess energy shields, plasma weapons, and faster-than-light travel. Human engineers had built counters for all of these advantages. Dr. Park revealed the crown jewel of Earth's secret arsenal. Quantum tunnel drives allowed human ships to travel between star systems without using the hyperspace lanes that other species monitored. Earth's forces could appear anywhere in the galaxy without warning, striking targets that thought themselves safe behind enemy lines. Admiral Kate Sullivan entered the chamber wearing the uniform of Earth's true military command. Her rank insignia showed authority that most council members never knew existed. She had been preparing for this war since the day Earth detected its first signs of hostile alien civilizations. Decades ago. The council watched in amazement as Sullivan displayed tactical information gathered from studying the New Haven attack. Every Caltharian weapon, ship movement, and communication had been recorded and analyzed. Human scientists now understood exactly how the Empire fought and where their weaknesses lay. Dr. Marcus Reed presented his analysis of alien biology based on samples recovered from the captured Earth's Dawn. The Caltharian soldiers who had boarded the exploration vessel left behind genetic material that revealed critical vulnerabilities in their physiology and psychology. Reed explained that the Empire's greatest strength was also their fatal weakness. Centuries of dominating weaker species had made them predictable and overconfident. They followed rigid battle patterns that worked against primitive civilizations, but would fail against adaptive human tactics. Commander Paul Mitchell outlined the training program for Earth's military forces. Unlike alien species that specialized in single combat roles, human soldiers learned to fight in any environment against any enemy. This flexibility would prove crucial in the coming war. The president asked a question that everyone in the room was thinking. Could Earth really defeat an empire that controlled 400 star systems and had crushed countless other civilizations? Sullivan's answer sent chills through the chamber. Earth would not simply defeat the Caltharian Empire. They would eliminate it completely. Every world, every ship, every alien who had participated in New Haven's destruction would face the same fate they had inflicted on innocent human families. This would not be a war of conquest, but a campaign of total extinction. General Johnson activated another display showing Earth's industrial capacity. Hidden factories had been producing warships, weapons, and ammunition for decades. The planet's entire economy had been secretly geared toward military production while maintaining the appearance of peaceful civilian society. Dr. Park revealed the weapons that would give humanity its edge in battle. Plasma fusion warheads designed to penetrate alien energy shields, molecular disruptor beams that could tear apart enemy hull materials, and quantum torpedoes that ignored conventional armor entirely. The Council learned that Earth's exploration missions had been gathering intelligence on alien technologies and weaknesses for years. Every peaceful contact with other species had been carefully planned to learn about galactic military capabilities without revealing humanity's true intentions. Sullivan explained that the Caltharian ultimatum gave Earth the perfect opportunity to strike first. The aliens expected humanity to spend 30 days in terrified debate about surrender terms. Instead, Earth would use that time to position attack fleets throughout enemy territory. Mitchell presented the psychological warfare component of their strategy. The galaxy had watched New Haven die and expected humanity to beg for mercy. When Earth's fleets began eliminating Caltharian worlds instead, the shock would shatter enemy morale and inspire rebellion among enslaved species. President White stood to address the Council with the weight of 99 million deaths behind her. Words. Earth would not negotiate with the Empire or seek compromise solutions. The aliens had demonstrated that peaceful coexistence was impossible by broadcasting genocide across the galaxy. The vote was unanimous. Operation Alien Extinction would begin, immediately with the largest military mobilization in human history. Every hidden base would activate, every secret weapon would deploy, and every trained soldier would prepare for a war that would determine whether humanity survived or joined. The countless species that had fallen to Caltharian might. Dr. Reed concluded the briefing with intelligence that made everyone smile grimly. The Caltharians had made one crucial mistake in their demonstration of power. They had shown the galaxy exactly how they fought, revealed their tactical preferences, and displayed their weapons capabilities. Earth now knew everything needed to destroy them. As the council members left to begin preparations, Sullivan remained behind with the president. The admiral's final words summarized Earth's new reality perfectly. The Caltharian Empire had spent centuries proving that might made right in galactic politics. They had been correct about that principle, but wrong about which species possessed the greater might. Within hours, hidden bases throughout the solar system began launching the largest fleet ever assembled by humanity. The war for Earth's survival had begun, but the aliens who had destroyed New Haven would soon discover they had awakened something far more dangerous than they could imagine. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship Retribution as 300 human warships prepared to emerge from quantum tunnel space. 6 months had passed since New Haven's destruction, and the Caltharian Empire believed humanity was still cowering in fear while debating surrender terms. They were about to learn how wrong they had been. The target was Vorthan Prime, the Empire's most heavily defended fortress world and home to 15 million Caltharian military personnel. Intelligence reports showed that War Commander Zethkar, the alien who had personally orchestrated New Haven's massacre, currently commanded the system's defenses from his palace on the planet's surface. Captain Don Phillips checked his weapons. Systems aboard the destroyer Vengeance as the fleet counted down to emergence. His ship carried experimental plasma fusion warheads designed specifically to penetrate Caltharian energy shields. Every weapon had been tested against captured alien technology to ensure maximum effectiveness. The quantum tunnel drives made no sound as they dropped 300 human warships into normal space at the edge of the Vorthan system. The Caltharian sensors detected nothing until Sullivan's fleet was already moving at full speed toward their primary targets. The aliens had never encountered stealth technology this advanced. Emergency alarms screamed across Vorthan Prime as the planet's orbital. Defense platforms tried to lock onto the approaching human fleet. The Caltharians had built their defenses to stop conventional attacks using hyperspace lanes and energy signatures they understood. Earth's ships remained invisible to their sensors until the first weapons fired. Phillips led the destroyer squadron in their attack on the orbital stations that protected the planet. Human plasma fusion warheads struck alien shields with energy patterns the Empire had never seen before. The first defense platform exploded in a brilliant flash that lit up the entire system. War Commander Zethkar emerged from his palace throne room as reports flooded in about the surprise attack. His advisors told him that unknown vessels were destroying their defenses with weapons that seemed to ignore Caltharian shield technology. The alien commander felt fear for the first time in his long military career. Commander, Alice Green prepared her marine assault teams as human. Ships broke through the orbital defenses and began landing operations on Vorthen Prime. The soldiers, war-powered armor designed from studying Caltharian physiology and carried weapons that fired rounds specifically engineered to penetrate alien body armor. The ground battle began with precision strikes on military installations across the planets. Surface. Human forces moved with coordination that the Empire had never encountered from any species. Instead of charging directly at defended positions, they used flanking maneuvers and tactical flexibility that confused alien defenders. Phillips watched from orbit as his weapons reduced another Caltharian stronghold to rubble. The aliens fought bravely, but their tactics followed predictable patterns developed from centuries of fighting weaker opponents. Human commanders adapted their strategies in real time, exploiting every weakness they discovered. Green's Marines encountered their first Caltharian ground forces outside the capital city. The four-armed aliens stood nearly 8 feet tall and carried energy weapons that could melt through conventional armor. However, human-powered suits absorbed the energy blasts, while return fire from modified weapons dropped the aliens like wheat before a harvester. Sullivan coordinated the battle from her command ship as more Caltharian reinforcements arrived in the system. Enemy warships emerged from hyperspace, expecting to trap the human attackers between their fleet and the planetary defenses. Instead, they found their fortress world already falling to an invasion force, using tactics they could not understand. Space battle that followed became a masterclass in human military innovation. Earth ships used their superior speed and maneuverability to avoid direct confrontation, while their long-range weapons picked apart Caltharian formations. Every alien vessel that tried to close for traditional combat found itself under attack from multiple directions. Zethkar activated his personal communications system and began broadcasting surrender offers to the human fleet. He promised, "Release all prisoners, withdraw from human space, and pay massive reparations for New Haven's destruction." His desperate words reached Admiral Sullivan's bridge within minutes. Sullivan's response echoed across the battlefield and was picked up by alien monitoring stations throughout the galaxy. She told Zethkar that humanity had not come to Vorthen Prime seeking surrender or negotiations. They had come to deliver the same justice the Empire had shown to 99 million innocent civilians. Green's ground forces reached the War Commander's palace as Caltharian defenses crumbled across the planet. The alien soldiers who had laughed while watching New Haven burn now fled in terror from human Marines who showed them no more mercy than they had shown human families. The final assault on Zethkar's command center lasted only 30 minutes. Human weapons designed specifically for close-quarters combat against alien anatomy proved devastatingly effective. The same technology that had made the Empire seem invincible became useless against enemies who understood exactly how it worked. Phillips received orders to begin orbital bombardment of remaining military targets. His plasma fusion warheads struck with surgical precision, eliminating every Caltharian installation while avoiding civilian areas. The message was clear. Humanity could be as precise or as destructive as the situation required. Zethkar made his final stand in the palace's central chamber, surrounded by his elite guards and advanced defensive systems. When Green's Marines breached the doors, they found the alien commander, who had casually ordered genocide, now trembling behind energy barriers that human weapons cut through like paper. The War Commander's capture marked the end of organized resistance. On Vorthen Prime, 15 million Caltharian military personnel had been eliminated in 18 hours of combat. More importantly, human forces had captured the planet's strategic databases containing detailed information about every world in the Empire. Colonel Greg Wallace began analyzing the captured intelligence as human technicians downloaded terabytes of Calfarian military data. Fleet positions, supply lines, defensive capabilities, and political structures across 400 star systems lay open before Earth's military planners. Admiral Sullivan stood over Zethkar-S restrained form in the captured palace. The alien who had broadcast New Haven's destruction to the galaxy now faced the species he had thought weak and defenseless. His four eyes showed terror as he realized that humanity's response would be far more thorough than anything the Empire had ever faced. The battle for Vorthan Prime ended with complete human victory and zero casualties among Earth's forces. The planet that had served as one of the Empire's primary military bases now flew human flags, while prisoners were processed and intelligence was gathered for the next phase of Operation Alien Extinction. As news of the victory spread through hidden communication networks, other enslaved species began to whisper that the Calfarian Empire might not be invincible after all. The humans had done something no civilization had accomplished in over 1,000 years. They had struck back at their oppressors and won. General Frank Johnson stood before the massive tactical display in Earth's new military command center as 17 different star systems flashed red on the screen. The intelligence captured from Vorthan Prime had revealed every weakness in intelligence, the Calfarian Empire's defenses. Now humanity would strike all of them at once. Captain Ryan Lopez guided his stealth destroyer squadron through the outer edge of the Calfex system, home to the Empire's largest weapons manufacturing facility. His ships moved like ghosts through space, their quantum drives leaving no signature that alien sensors could detect. The facility that had produced the weapons used to destroy New Haven would be eliminated within hours. Across the galaxy, 16 other human task forces approached their targets with the same deadly precision. Each attack had been planned using captured Calfarian data to exploit specific vulnerabilities in their defenses. The empire that had ruled through fear for centuries was about to learn what systematic warfare looked like. Commander Janet Stone activated her psychological warfare broadcast from the captured palace on Vorthan Prime. Her message would reach every enslaved species in the galaxy, showing them footage of human forces defeating their Calfarian oppressors. The images of alien soldiers fleeing from human marines spread hope through civilizations that had forgotten what resistance looked like. Lopez watched his tactical display as Calfex Station came into view ahead. The massive manufacturing complex stretched for hundreds of kilometers through space, producing enough weapons to supply entire fleets. Thousands of alien workers and soldiers moved through its corridors, unaware that their facility had been marked for complete destruction. Dr. Helen Park monitored the first field test of humanity's newest weapons from her laboratory on Earth. The molecular disruptor cannons and quantum torpedoes had been built using captured alien technology combined with human engineering innovations. Early reports from the battlefields showed that Calfarian ships were being destroyed faster than their crews could react. The attack on Calfex Station began with precision strikes on the facility's shield generators. Human weapons fired in perfect coordination, overwhelming the alien defenses before they could respond effectively. Lopez smiled grimly as the first explosions lit up the manufacturing complex like a deadly fireworks display. Admiral Carl Brooks commanded the largest battle group ever assembled by humanity as they approached the Calfarian capital system. Over 1,000 human warships prepared to face the Empire's most powerful defenses in what would become the greatest space battle in galactic history. The aliens had concentrated their best forces to protect their homeworld, but they had no idea what was coming. Stone's broadcasts showed alien populations across the galaxy that the mighty Caltharian Empire was falling to human forces. Species that had served as slaves for generations began organizing resistance movements while their oppressors struggled to understand how one small planet could challenge 400 star systems. The manufacturing station's destruction created a chain reaction of explosions that could be seen from neighboring star systems. Lopez and his squadron watched as centuries of alien weapon production vanished in minutes of human firepower. The Empire's ability to replace combat losses had been crippled with surgical precision. Brooks studied his battle plans as the human fleet prepared to engage the largest concentration of Caltharian warships ever assembled. Intelligence reports showed over 5,000 enemy vessels protecting their capital, including dreadnoughts that had never been defeated in battle. The coming fight would test every advantage humanity had developed. Commander Stone received reports from resistance groups throughout the galaxy as news of human victories spread through underground networks. Species that had been conquered by the Empire centuries ago were rising up against their occupiers. The psychological impact of seeing Caltharians flee from human forces was destroying the aliens' reputation for invincibility. Major Kelly Wright led her commando team through the ventilation systems of the Caltharian Emperor's palace while the space battle raged overhead. Her mission was the most dangerous of the entire war: capture the alien ruler who had personally ordered genocides against dozens of species over the past 1,000 years. The capital system battle began with human forces emerging from quantum tunnel space at 17 different points simultaneously. Brooks had studied every major space battle in Caltharian history and designed tactics that exploited their predictable response patterns. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to anticipate their every move. Lopez received new orders to attack the Empire's supply depot at Mordix 7 while his squadron celebrated their victory at Calthex Station. The systematic destruction of Caltharian infrastructure continued across multiple star systems as human forces maintained their coordinated assault. Each target eliminated weakened the Empire's ability to resist. Wright's commandos encountered heavy resistance as they fought their way toward the Emperor's throne room. The alien palace guards used every weapon and defensive system available, but human-powered armor and specialized tactics proved superior. Bodies of 4 armed warriors littered the corridors as the strike team advanced. The space battle around the capital reached its peak as Brooks ordered his reserve forces into combat. Human ships moved in coordinated formations that confused and overwhelmed the larger Caltharian fleet. Superior tactics and adaptive strategies gradually turned numerical disadvantage into decisive victory. Stone expanded her psychological warfare campaign to include footage of captured Caltharian leaders confessing their war crimes. The broadcast showed the galaxy that their former oppressors were not invincible gods, but mortal beings who could be defeated and brought to justice. Rebellion spread like wildfire through the Empire's enslaved territories. Wright's team reached the throne room as the Emperor's final defenses collapsed around them. The alien ruler, who had casually ordered the destruction of entire civilizations, now cowered behind his ceremonial chair as human soldiers surrounded him. His capture would mark the beginning of the Empire's complete political collapse. Admiral Brooks watched from his flagship as the last Caltharian dreadnoughts exploded under sustained human fire. The space battle that had lasted 3 months was finally over, with complete victory for Earth's forces. Over 10,000 alien warships had been destroyed, while human losses remained minimal due to superior technology and tactics. President Carolyn White prepared to address the galaxy from Earth as reports of total victory reached the whole world. The Caltharian Empire's government had formally surrendered after their emperor's capture, but her message would shock every species listening. She had no intention of accepting their surrender. The president's words echoed across the galaxy with finality that made entire civilizations tremble. The empire that had demonstrated their cruelty by broadcasting New Haven's destruction had proven that peaceful coexistence was impossible. Humanity's response would ensure they never threatened anyone again. The age of Caltharian dominance was ending, but Earth's rule was just beginning. Admiral Kate Sullivan received the final surrender documents from the last Caltharian stronghold as Earth's flag was raised over the former Imperial Palace. 6 months after capturing their emperor, humanity had eliminated every major military installation across 400 star systems. The species that had casually murdered 99 million humans now faced the same systematic destruction they had inflicted on countless others. Dr. Marcus Reed presented his final report on Caltharian war crimes to the Human Colonial Authority. Evidence gathered from captured databases showed that New Haven was just the latest massacre in a 1,000-year history of genocide. Over 50 species had been completely eliminated by Imperial forces, their entire civilizations erased for their rents. Entertainment of alien audiences. Captain Dan Phillips, now promoted to Admiral, oversaw the final elimination of Caltharian military leadership across the former empire. Every alien who had participated in genocidal campaigns was systematically identified and brought to justice. The warrior caste that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries discovered that humanity's memory was long and their justice was absolute. Commander Alice Green established the first Human Colonial Authority office on the former Caltharian homeworld, as terraforming ships began converting the planet for human settlement. The message to the galaxy was clear. Earth did not simply conquer its enemies, it replaced them entirely. Where Caltharian cities once stood, human colonies would rise. The other species that had been enslaved by the Empire watched in amazement as humanity offered them something no conqueror had ever provided before: complete independence or voluntary alliance with Earth's growing confederation. There were no demands for tribute, no requirements for slavery, and no threats of destruction for those who chose to remain neutral. President Carolyn White walked through the halls of the former Imperial Palace as she prepared for her address. To the Galactic Assembly, representatives from hundreds of species had gathered to hear how humanity intended to govern the territories they had taken from their former oppressors. Her words would reshape galactic politics for generations to come. Admiral Phillips coordinated the final phase of Operation Alien Extinction from his flagship orbiting the old capital world. The few remaining Caltharian civilians were being relocated to reservation worlds where they could live under human supervision. Their species would survive, but their empire and their ability to threaten others was gone forever. General Frank Johnson reviewed the strategic reports that showed Earth's complete control over former Imperial territory. Human bases had been established on every important world, controlling all hyperspace routes and strategic resources in this sector of the galaxy. No hostile force could threaten Earth's colonies without facing the full might of humanity's military. Dr. Helen Park demonstrated the latest human technologies to alien scientists who had come seeking peaceful cooperation. The weapons that had destroyed the Caltharian Empire were being converted to peaceful purposes, terraforming dead worlds and building the infrastructure for a new galactic civilization under human protection. Commander Janet Stone monitored communications across the galaxy as news of Earth's victory spread to the furthest star systems. Species that had never heard of humanity before. New Haven's destruction now spoke of Earth with the same respect they had once shown the Empire. The psychological impact of defeating such a powerful enemy had made humans legendary. The Galactic Assembly fell silent as President White began her historic address. Her words would be remembered for thousands of years as the moment when galactic civilization entered a new age. She spoke of the Empire's crimes, humanity's response, and the choice that now faced every species in known space. Admiral Sullivan established the final human colony on the former Imperial Throne world as construction ships began building cities, designed for both human and alien residents. The planet that had once been the center of galactic oppression would become the capital of a new confederation based on cooperation rather than conquest. The president's speech reached its climax as she addressed the fundamental question that every species was asking. The Caltharian Empire had believed that might made right, that superior technology justified genocide and oppression. They had been correct about one principle: the strong did indeed rule the weak in galactic politics. Green's colonial administrators worked with representatives from liberated species to establish new governments on worlds that had known only imperial rule for centuries. The transition from slavery to freedom required careful guidance, but humanity provided support without demanding control. Earth's protection came without the price of independence. Phillips received reports that the last hidden Caltharian military bases had been eliminated from the Outer Rim territories. The species that had ruled through fear and brutality for a millennium had been reduced to scattered civilians under human supervision. Their empire was not just defeated, but completely dismantled. Dr. Reed concluded his analysis of imperial records with a sobering statistic. The Caltharian Empire had eliminated over 2 billion sentient beings during their reign of terror. The destruction of New Haven had been just another day's work for aliens who viewed genocide as entertainment. Humanity's response had prevented countless future massacres. The president's final words echoed through the assembly hall and across the galaxy through millions of communication networks. The Caltharians had simply misunderstood which species possessed true strength. Earth now controlled 400 star systems that had once belonged to their enemies, and humanity offered the galaxy a simple choice. Admiral Sullivan watched as the last transport ships carried Caltharian civilians to their new homes on supervised worlds. The species would survive under human oversight, but they would never again possess the power to threaten other civilizations. Their empire's legacy would serve as a warning to anyone who might consider following their example: peaceful coexistence under human protection, or the same fate that had befallen those who chose to make Earth their enemy. The galaxy entered a new age where the most effective military force in known space guaranteed peace through strength. Species across hundreds of star systems found themselves living under the protection of the people they had expected to beg for mercy. Green established memorial sites on New Haven, where the rebuilt colony honored the 99 million dead who had been the catalyst for humanity's rise to galactic power. Their sacrifice had not been in vain. It had awakened Earth's true potential and ensured that no species would ever again face the same fate at alien hands. The story of the Caltharian Empire's destruction became legend throughout the galaxy. The species that had broadcast genocide for entertainment discovered that their victims possessed something they had never encountered: the will to fight to complete extinction rather than accept subjugation. Earth's response had been swift, thorough, and absolutely final.